Ominous. It is so fun to say.
Go.
Yeah, that's one way to say it.
Welcome to Things I Got Wrong, your general trivia podcast with a healthy dose of internet and media things. I'm Ryan Bott.
I'm Rachel Miller.
I'm Stuart Hopkins.
I believe in it.
ISS,
Until they show us evidence that we're not, we are.
I'm sure Bob and Doug, is that their names? Bob and Doug? I'm sure they're listening, and I'm sure they're enjoying it. I was gonna say they have a long car trip.
Yeah. It's elevator music.
I mean, what else are you gonna listen to while you're on
epic,
hold?
Yeah.
I hope they had like some epic Eye of the Tiger moment where they're getting out of the car.
I hope
and,
so.
And the fight music starts. Kind of always dreamed of that if I ever do anything epic.
Yeah, what do they do in all their downtime? Do they play floating cards?
No, they're there on a science mission, so they have to work when they're up there.
No, it was cool. We watched part of it. We were doing it was a while ago. We were
doing
me and Rachel
thing.
were doing an art stream, like a live stream kind of thing. That's like an art class, and they were watching it. So then we started watching it on a separate screen too. It's pretty cool. There's a certain point where it's like it makes sense to the mind that the rocket goes straight up, and then it starts breaking like different, like higher and higher elevation, and then you see it just start flattening out, and you're like, this feels like in part of my brain the part where they then start descending back down, and that's really scary.
Yeah.
But they don't. They just kind of wiggle and they go like horizontal because the axis of
Huh. Right, and the fuel cost to go just straight up is immense. But like if you hit the curve, then it's way, way easier to break out of there.
Hmm.
Yeah, because the magnetic axes, I think, are at the poles.
Yeah. Because they got delayed because of bad weather and stuff. And I think at some point you have to wonder, it's like, why do they do all this in Florida? Because like the state that has bad weather every day at 3 p.m. that you can set your watch to. Although, yeah, I remember when we were watching it, I've heard and I've sort of seen the highlight of the re-landing the booster. But I didn't realize how like intense and finite that is. They were like landing it is on like a very tiny barge. Like they landed the reusable booster on like the Titanic door. That's really funny. I didn't think about that. Yeah, if I ever went to space, I would want it to be like Ender's Game style. I want to go through so many tests that I don't even know when the real one happens. To just be like, oh no, you already did it, you're here. It's like, oh thank God. I thought this was just another Tuesday test sim. Well, yeah, we'll get right on that, and we'll be up in space in no time, recording maybe episode 50 up in space.
Oh boy, wow, that'll be real quick.
Right,
you never know. But if anyone can get us there. Yeah, and in the meantime, though, this is the 47th ever episode, and we have 4 rounds of questions for these 3 to compete and earn points and vie for all the space points in the world.
Space
points.
Oh boy, space points.
And space points. It's secret. You can't let anyone else know. And if you are ready, we will start as always with general trivia. General trivia, question number 1. Each answer will be worth 2 points. Be sure to buzz in and call out when you know it. Question number 1. 3 U.S. states, New York, Massachusetts, and Ohio, all have outstanding warrants, largely for deception and fraud, against what notable figure who's rare to be seen but once a year? Yes.
What is that?
The groundhog who shows up in Pennsylvania every year.
Oh. I have, yes. I don't remember. 3
states, New York, Massachusetts, and Ohio, all have outstanding warrants for his arrest, largely for deception and fraud, for not truthfully telling if it's spring or winter. That one's fun. There's actually like legit, but like, tongue-in-cheek arrest warrants out that come out on like social media every year. Question number 2. Authors Aldous Huxley and C.S. Lewis both died on November 22nd, 1963, but were both overshadowed in the news by what more notable American death that same day?
Rachel.
Oh.
Rachel?
JFK.
Yes. JFK dying November 22nd, 1963. Same day as Aldous Huxley and C.S. Lewis both. 2 points to Rachel there. Question number 3. It takes more than a few people to do the arm movements justice. So tell me, in 1978, what group wrote the song YMCA? The Village People. What?
Okay.
Wait, Riot Fest or?
Oh, I thought you said Riot Fest. I was like, he went without me.
Young man. But yeah, it takes a village. It takes more than a few people to do the arm movements justice. That would be the Village People. Question number 4. What German word, literally meaning bound day or meeting for the day, represents the German federal parliament and is the only body directly elected by the German people? What is this word? So it might be a tough one. Meeting for the day. So if you know any German, you might be able to pull some of it together. This is a tough one. This is the equivalent to the German federal parliament is the Bundestag.
Yeah, no, I was not going to be right.
0 points there. Question number 5. Wroxham Road, despite being a small country road, has been an international footpath for thousands of asylum seekers and expats and is considered the largest unofficial crossing between what 2 countries? Maybe Wroxham Road.
Rachel? Ireland and Northern Ireland?
No. Despite being a small country road, has been an international footpath for thousands of asylum seekers and expats and is considered the largest unofficial crossing between what 2 countries?
I need to print out a world map and just keep it above where I record. Is it? Because I don't.
No other guesses?
No.
Wroxham Road would be found. It is a small outside the city crossing that takes place from New York to Quebec. This would be from the U.S. to Canada.
Oh.
Maybe it's the other way
it's not really
around.
the Canadians leaving so much. Or it happens, I don't know. And it's not necessarily U.S. fleeing to Canada. It is other immigrants from one place or another. Supposedly, and I tried to look some of this up. I didn't quite understand all the research, but there is some loophole in 2003 or 4 where I forget the verbiage. So I don't want to say things and get it wrong in a topic like this. But essentially, if a family who were maybe refugees or expats in America try to come into Canada, they would, from official means, they have to then be sent back to the country that essentially granted them first asylum, which would send them straight back to the U.S. But essentially, there are, from what I understand, very calm Canadian police officers along this road who will essentially find people physically coming up the road and say, here's the deal. You can either go 5 miles west and you can go through the official thing, which we recommend, but that may just take you straight back to the US, or you can cross here. We will arrest you, but because we arrest you in Canada, you can then claim political asylum and you can start your drafting to be Canadian citizens. So I don't know the details, but it's quite fascinating. And as I've kept up on some, news between countries and stuff, Wroxham Road is certainly a topical thing, especially dealing with immigration in Canada and whatnot. No points there. Question number 6, last question of the round. Invented by accident while working on devices to help keep equipment steady at sea, what toy is said to, quote, gracefully walk down instead of falling?
Stoop.
Rachel.
Weebles wobble. That's right. I have a My Neighbor Totoro Weeble for the kids.
Oh my
God. It is so cute.
I don't think I know what a Weeble is.
They were popular in the 80s, early 90s. But it's just a toy with like a round bottom on it and like a figure on top of it. But it's weighted at such a low center of gravity that like you can push it and it just won't fall down. It just sits back up.
Got it. Yeah. But that is the end of the round. All right. Round number 2. This is the themed round. And this theme is trivia about Shakespeare.
Oh, boy.
What soft, what light? I have 6
yonder
questions.
window breaks.
Right.
It's from Romeo and Juliet.
But soft, what light through yonder window breaks?
Oh.
It is the east.
Is it?
Pretty much. Well, except for Kareem is really, really good.
Of 3 days. I
can't remember if I've said it on the show before, but we covered it when I was in high school, and we had an assignment to all basically live act a scene of the play. So me and I think 3 or 4 of my friends, we all got together. We did the scene with basically the big fight between Mercutio and Tibbet and the others. Yeah. I forget their names off the top of my head, but we didn't really have any gear. So my friend brought I don't know what they're called, but they're those like plastic, like 3 or 4 foot long tubes that you swirl and they go, whoa.
Oh my God, I love those.
So we got on our school's auditorium stage in front of the class, and we all just dressed the best we could in gear that was basically like track pants and whatever sort of felt like fighting gear. And we did the whole scene to the point where we all took out these plastic things and we were just like yelling our lines and just going, whoa. It was a good time. But with that being said, let's get straight into it. These are questions about himself, stuff relating to the plays, all sorts of stuff. Question number 1. What theater that still exists today was first built in 1599?
Rachel?
What?
Rachel.
The Globe Theater.
Yes. But yeah, built in 1599 by Shakespeare's Play Company, and then had been burnt down, rebuilt, shut down, reopened. This would be the Globe Theater.
An inspiration to us all.
Also, I almost made it a question, and I didn't, but I think it's really interesting, especially when it comes to like English writing and stuff, that the King James version of the Bible was written and produced in Shakespeare's lifetime, which seems absurd to think about in some ways. Like it came out in 1640-ish. I forget the date off the top of my head.
Well, I'll also give another fun fact about book writing, is that none of what we have of Shakespeare was ever written by him. These are written down, people who went to plays and stuff. We assume it's word for word, but it could be different. Like they would listen to the plays and like write down the lines as they had them.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, supposedly, I mean, because again, this is just more research I did while I was making this round, but because copyright didn't exist in any conceivable way, that a lot of plays, especially early on, were essentially the lines were given to the actors right before they said their part, and or piecemealed as they went. Which is crazy. All right. Question number 2. 2 points to Rachel on that one. Question number 2. Although there's very little known about her, what wife of Shakespeare shares her name with
Rachel.
a modern Rachel?
Anne Hathaway.
Yes, Anne Hathaway. This might, at least the first 2 were a little basic, so maybe it's a little more to Rachel's round, but we'll see. She might run away with it. Question number 3. Cowards die many times before their death. The valiant never taste of death but once, was said by what title character after being urged not to go to the Senate that day? It's be Julius Caesar. Do I?
A2 bot. A2 Brutus.
Yeah.
U2 Brutus, like as his
Yeah.
friend, betrays him.
A story of hope.
Yeah, that's one way to say it.
And that was in the 1500s.
Especially considering that dollars didn't exist then, it's really incredible.
Right.
Talk about space points.
Space points. Space points.
Space points.
Space.
Question number 4. Charles Dodgson is generally considered the second most quoted English author behind Shakespeare for his newly invented words like snark, mimsy, frabjou, and jabberwocky. By what pen name is Dodgson better known?
Rachel?
Oh, rap.
Rachel.
Milton? John Milton?
Not Milton, although that's a good guess. Charles Dodgson.
I just know he was around
generally
that
considered
time,
the
so.
Yeah.
Crap.
I can't tell if you're buzzing in or making space noises.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm not buzzing in. I know the books that they're famous for, like. Because of Jabberwocky, like I know what this is. I can't think of the last name. I know the first name. I can't think of the last name.
The second most quoted English author behind Shakespeare for his newly invented words like snark, mimsy, frabjou, and jabberwocky.
Stu. Lewis Carroll.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think. Like I was thinking like 1500s, like Shakespeare. I was like, I can't get outside of this time. Jesus.
No, it's okay. Because Jabberwocky, that was the one that tipped me off.
Lewis Carroll, Alice in Wonderland, Through the Looking Glass, whatnot. Original name is Charles Dodgson. 2 points to Stu there. Question number 5. Which of Shakespeare's plays has the most deaths by body count? Not Hamlet.
Really?
Rachel. Macbeth?
Not Macbeth.
I swear.
Stu, do you have a guess? I have a second clue on this one.
I mean, I can't. Romeo and Juliet.
Not Romeo and Juliet.
Right.
Which of Shakespeare's plays has the most deaths by body count, beating out Hamlet slightly, in part because an entire Turkish military fleet sinks?
Oh.
Rachel? Richard III?
No, not Richard III.
I've got like a long list of books if you want me to continue. I'm just going to start guessing, and I haven't, like, I can keep like listing, but I don't know anything about these books. I just know their titles.
Any other guesses?
Yeah.
Stu, do you want to take a stab before?
I got nothing. You guys named all the ones I knew.
Right. I mean, you can go down the list if you want to for no points, Rachel, but...
Okay, let's start with Henry V.
Nope.
Henry VII.
Nope.
The Merchant of Venice.
Nope.
Twelfth Night.
Nope.
King Lear.
So, nope. Although, side note, that's my favorite. So this is the Turkish fleet that did not survive the storm. So the battle, I believe, outside of Venice. This would be Othello.
Oh, it's Othello? I didn't even remember that. I've read Othello and I didn't remember that at all.
So this one is maybe a little controversial because outside of an entire military fleet that is only briefly mentioned that sinks, killing off probably hundreds of people, it would have been, it goes down the line from most, except for not part of the literal question. Othello, Hamlet, Titus, and Andronicus, Antony and Cleopatra, and then King Lear is fifth worst by death percentage. So, no points there. Question number 6, last question of the round. In the 1996 pistol-wielding rival gang adaptation of Romeo and Juliet, which features Claire Danes across from what actor playing Romeo Montague?
Rachel. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes, that is correct.
It's a wonderfully terrible movie.
I don't remember it being very good.
It was awful, but it was great at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like wonderfully awful. It's like one of those movies, if you're just looking for a terrible movie that everyone agrees is terrible, but at the same time, it's kind of like a cult classic.
God, just because of how weird it is. I think I was looking it up a little bit. The pistols are literally named swords and sabers or something like that. And the FedEx-ish company that runs throughout the movie is called Post Haste.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah. Also, fun fact: the person who tries to become Juliet's fiance in the movie, who bids for her hand in the play, is played by Paul Rudd, Ant-Man.
Oh, really?
What?
So that is the end of the round, and going into halftime, the scores are as follows: Stu with 2 points, 1 foot out of the fort.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
All right, let's get into round number 3. This is one I am looking forward to. I think Stu had done kind of a similar round, but I started looking up some research on this one. I had to do it. It's what I'm calling Gastro Obscura, which is a round all about fictional food.
Ooh.
Oh boy, this is going to be fun.
Yes, I did. Yeah, fictional drinks quite a while ago.
Oh, it was fictional drinks. Okay. I think I found the name from Atlas Obscura, which is a crazy, basically almanac of crazy things in the world. But here are 6 fictional foods. I'll give you a description and you need to tell me the product. 2 points for each correct answer. Call it when you know it. Question number 1. These nutritious but bland wafer foods are all that's affordable to us non-elites. And in this dystopic, overcrowded future, it's the food's secret ingredient that will kill us all.
Oh, it's people. It's people.
Soylent Green is people.
Don't tell the secrets, guys.
Yeah, spoilers on a 50-year-old movie. Question number 2. This green fizzy drink has all the bubbles go down instead of up. It tastes like vanilla and cream with faint traces of raspberry. Sophie and her larger-than-life friend get to enjoy all of its side effects. This green fizzy drink has all the bubbles go down instead of up and taste of vanilla and cream with a faint trace of raspberries. And Sophie and her larger-than-life friend... I can't tell if you're buzzing in.
I'm not buzzing in. I'm so upset because
Stu's just making space noises.
Space points.
Space points.
Dude, what is... Oh my god. I don't have it. I'm dying over here. I don't have it. I should know
Sophie
it, but I don't
and
know.
her larger-than-life friend get to enjoy all of its side effects. No guesses? Should we just put Stu out of his misery?
Yeah.
The media is from the BFG.
It is. Okay.
Oh.
And this soda or this fizzy drink is Frobscottle.
Oh. Okay. I wouldn't have gotten the name, but I had a feeling.
Which has 2 very peculiar side effects. I'll give you a bonus point if you know what they are. All the bubbles go down instead of up.
Oh.
You get smaller?
No, you fart instead of burp.
Ah.
It allows you to fart and it allows you to fly.
Ah. Well.
Oh, yeah. So no points there. Question number 3. While he wishes that fruit wasn't so rare, he has to gobble up all of these first before moving on. However, once his enemies turn blue, they look a lot tastier
Rachel.
than these round... Rachel.
Pac-Man.
Yes. Can you identify the...
No.
Well, Rachel's...
I don't... Oh, yeah, you're right.
Do you know what the thing he's
food.
eating? Do you know what?
No.
I mean, it shouldn't be hard.
Rachel, raspberries?
No.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they're power pellets from the Pac-Man games. You had the right media, but yeah. While he wishes fruit wasn't so rare, he has to gobble up all of these first before moving on. However, once his enemies turn blue, they all look a lot tastier than these round drabs. These would be the power pellets. Question number 4. This candy of most secret magic and engineering will certainly break your teeth if you try to chew it.
Stew.
Stew.
Everlasting Gobstopper.
Yes. This candy of most secret magic and engineering, but if you savor it, it will never shrink or disappear and will always change color and flavor forever. That would be... I mean,
Well... But the thing about the Everlasting Gobstopper is you get so sick of it that you just need other candy and nothing satisfies like a Wonka bar.
I mean, if you've seen the documentary, the business model is not necessarily the best part of his operation. Yeah. It's really just all a money laundering scheme for his engineering.
Yeah.
All right. 2 points to stew there. Question number 5. Thanksgiving at my family's house is always a surprise. When family members like her show up, every flavor imaginable always leads to surprise, and no amount of magic can ever defend the risk you take eating these on the school trolley.
Could you repeat the question again?
Yeah. Thanksgiving at my family's house is always a surprise when family members like her show up. Every flavor imaginable always leads to surprise, and no amount of magic can ever defend the risk you take eating these on the school trolley.
Stew. Birdie Bot's Ever Flavored Beans?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
There's a risk to them.
Good old Birdie Bot.
Stu, I have a very important question.
Sure.
Have you been required to memorize these by your wife because of her love for Harry Potter?
Not required, no, but I don't think we'd be married if it wasn't the case.
It's kind of like how I heavily encourage Ryan to learn all the Lord of the Rings things.
Right. It's not required. It's not. But there is a score, a credit system.
It is mandatory. Birdie Bot's Every Flavor Beans always leads to surprise. Nice job. 2 points to stew there. Question number 6. A few of these cute and fluffy penguin-esque birds roasted over a fire will help nourish the more animalistic of you while you're isolated on a remote Jedi island. Yeah. Roast porg. It is probably not... maybe not roasted ones. It's probably not best to wash this down with a big glass of blue milk, but hey, if it's all you got, that would be roast porg. All right, going into the 4th round. This round is a lightning round.
Pew, pew, pew.
Eclair. It's French for lightning and also a dessert. So, relevant.
Dessert is relevant because I want it right now.
I always want it.
All right.
It's just a fact.
Lightning round is where I'll give you a numerical, generally kind of hypothesis guessing answer. So this will go in fairly quick fashion. So everybody will write down their answer, and whoever is closest to gets 2 points. Question number 1. How many ridges are on the outside of a U.S. quarter? How many ridges are on the outside of a U.S. quarter? Rachel?
102.
Stu?
146.
Rachel is the closest. The U.S. quarter has 119.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Ridges or reeds. 119. 2 points to Rachel there. Question number 2. Going back to William Shakespeare, not including the sonnets he wrote, how many plays are currently attributed to being written by William Shakespeare? Or created, more to Rachel's point. Not including the sonnets, which I think there are at least 150 of. How many plays are currently attributed to? This is a smaller number than that.
Yeah.
Hint. How many plays can be attributed to William Shakespeare? Rachel.
37?
Stu?
Oh, I had 12.
Well, it's more than 12. It's more than 30. It is exactly 37.
What?
According to his collection book, essentially the generated collection of his work, there are 37 plays.
Wow.
So I'm going to give Rachel a bonus point for hitting it right on the head, exact.
Bonus points.
I will fully admit that was a guess out of the blue. I was thinking, before anyone started going, I was thinking maybe 27 or 37. 7 sounds good.
Nice job. We've always done a bonus point for hitting it exactly on the head.
That's true.
So 3 points to Rachel there. Question number 3. According to the University of Texas research, in millions, how many M&Ms are produced every day around the world? How many M&Ms are produced around the world, or are produced every day around the world in millions? Stu?
102 million.
Rachel?
10 million?
It is more than all of those, so Stu is closest, but everyone's off by quite a bit. It is 400 million M&Ms produced every day.
Dude, who? I was about to say, who eats that much? But then I realized that 40 pounds.
That's right. We haven't had M&Ms in a long time.
Yes, it's because we had to stop getting them.
There was shame involved.
Yes.
M&M Anonymous. It is so fun to say. M&M Anonymous. Oh my gosh.
All right. 2 points to Stu there. Question number 4. In feet, how long is Sue, one of the largest intact Tyrannosaurus Rex skeletons? In feet, how long is Sue, who normally takes up residence in the Chicago Field Museum? Rachel.
43?
Stu?
80?
Very close to the number is Rachel. It is 40 feet long.
Whoa.
I don't know how distances and proportions work, so I just throw out numbers.
It seems to work. Lightning type rounds, you always do very well on them, and I do extraordinarily poor on them. But Sue is 40 feet long and 13 feet tall from bottom of the foot to top of the hip, since essentially the Tyrannosaurus Rex is horizontal. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the highest point is the top of the back or the hips. But 40 feet long, 2 points to Rachel there. Question number 5, talking about Kareem earlier. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the NBA's all-time scoring leader with how many points across 20 seasons?
Oh, God.
20 seasons. He is the number 1 all-time scorer.
How many games are in a season?
82. 82. I don't know if it was different earlier, like back in the 70s, but it is 82 today. Sorry, what's that, Rich?
I said, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You may have heard of him. He's kind of the Kareem of Kareems. Is the NBA's all-time leading scorer with how many points total across 20 seasons? Rachel.
1,600?
Stu.
100,000?
So I would say a good NBA player like LeBron James or Michael Jordan or Kareem probably scores somewhere around 30 points a game on average, 25 to 30 points a game on average. So players can get 2,000 or 3,000 points a season. The all-time scoring number is 38,387 points across 20 seasons.
I did 82 times 40 times 20, and then I just said 100,000 because I was like, well, this is off.
I didn't apply the math because I can't do math in my head, so...
You got paper in front of you. Are you not playing by the rules?
I know I have paper in front of me, but I haven't taken a math class, like a real math class, since like I was a sophomore in high school.
Oh, okay.
And so... No, I'm never.
Yeah, your space points are never going to add up.
Space points.
Space points.
Glad we had a show
our title for this episode, it'll better be Whispered Space Points.
It might just be a compilation of all the space point whispering up front.
There you go. That might be it. All right. Question number 6, the last question of the game. In millions, what was the average number of monthly visitors to Google.com in 2012? In millions. What was the average number of monthly visitors to Google.com in 2012? Stu.
600 million.
Rachel.
I also was going kind of along that route, so I was going to say 2,000 million. 2 billion.
Well,
2
I was thinking around like the 7 billion people in the world kind of thing.
Yeah.
I probably would have said in billions if the number was, in billions.
Right. I think by default I win here.
In millions, what was the average number of monthly visitors to Google in 2012? It is far lower than everything. It is 188 million monthly visitors.
That's it?
As monthly visitors, so on average. I mean, This was largely before Chrome and Android. Well, maybe not before Android. Somewhere in there, or at least around
on the year.
Yeah, that part's important. But 2 points to Stu there. That is the end of the game. When you go to space, it's like you never left. That is the end of the game. And each episode, a couple of us give a movie, a game experience, something cool like that we recommend you check out. Rachel, you have a pick.
Yes, it is a show. Well, it's a show. It's a docuseries, I guess, is the best way to call it. It's on Netflix. It is called How to Fix a Drug Scandal. So I'm going to just give a kind of brief overview. It's a documentary, so there's not many spoilers because documentary. But in essence, it follows kind of the story of 2 drug scandals in Massachusetts. That would be one, these are chemists in the 2 largest state drug labs, which is when people are arrested for drug offenses. One of the things that like prosecutors or police have to show is that there was like the drug that they're saying is a drug is actually a drug, because as like the show explains, salt or sugar can look a lot like these drugs. So they actually have to test them. So it goes through 2 different drug scandals, one of which is about somebody who has had like faced so many demands of like they were just so overwhelmed, so understaffed, and other things like personal like self-esteem things, where they started like batch testing, which is they would grab a bunch of samples that kind of all look the same, only test one, and then write off like 10 others as being the drug, even if they're all unrelated cases. And then on the other side was actually somebody who had a drug addiction, who was working in the lab for like 10 years and was using the drugs in the lab. And so it's like this whole like fallout, and they ended up like dismissing some like over 20,000 cases. Like people who had been in prison, like, because I think these drug scandals began in like 2004. And so it's all about this fallout, accusations of prosecutorial misconduct or the attorney general's office trying to like cover this up. But it's just like this, like, the way that they portray it and the way that they've kind of summed it up is this is kind of a forgotten area of the justice system. Like, it's just kind of like, I guess the best word would be like a mechanical part where it's just like, yeah, somebody tests it. They say, like, we have no reason to say that they're not, because it's kind of assumed that they're like a neutral arbiter of the evidence. Like, they get it, they test it, they don't go for one side or the other, but that calls it into question. So it's a very interesting dive into the people who were really exploring this kind of drug scandal and all the politics behind it in this kind of area. And it's not very legal in nature. Well, it is legal, like in the sense of there's like a lot of defense attorneys, but it's kind of, it's exploring how the system failed. Like, how was it that in a drug lab where they're testing cocaine and heroin and stuff all the time, that none of the employees, like, there was no mandatory drug testing. like the police have it, like, all the time. But for these employees, there was never any mandatory drug testing. It's like, this could have been caught immediately. Like just like kind of just standard things, but it's like, it talks about failures in the system. And one of the attorneys puts it really good. Is like, he feels really bad for drug addicts because it's very, very hard for them already, like, to stop. It's not like a on a whim thing, you know? And so it's kind of a look bigger at the system. And so you actually get to hear, at least from one of their families, talking about the impact on this person and kind of what led to them to doing this. And then kind of how the system failed even like years and years after. So it's really, really interesting. I highly recommend it. Like, I was just like enthralled throughout it.
So does it focus more on, like, I get it's less on like people making it or being addicted to it or the sell of it, and it's more about like the prosecution and the politics behind it?
I think it's exactly what the title is. I think that's really the best way to describe it, is how to fix a drug scandal. You know, they've got a drug scandal. They've got thousands of cases. Now all the science beyond these cases is significantly, if not completely, undermined.
Yeah.
You know, calls into question, you know, they're calling into question all these timelines. If these people were impaired, when were they impaired? If these samples were messed with, when were they? And so you've got all these like timeline issues and all this like underlying things. So like, you're trying to it's fixing the fallout from a drug scandal.
Huh. Right.
It's really, really interesting.
That's really cool. And it's on How to Fix a Drug Scandal. It's on Netflix.
That's where I watched it, yes.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good. We'll have links to everything. And if you're listening, send us a pic of something you've been checking out at thingsthegotwrong.com, or sorry, at thingsthegotwrong@gmail.com. You can also check out the website, thingsthegotwrong.com, to check out all the past episodes, all the show notes, all of the picks we've ever done are all there on the website. So the next episode will come out around the end of July. That'll be the round robin game where all four of us are playing. So keep an eye out for that. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bum ba ba bum 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 bum. Do 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 do.